Today we're diving into a fascinating topic, failure. More precisely, the right kind of failure. And we're learning how to fail well. This book, The Right Kind of Wrong by Amy Edmondson, a professor at Harvard, is what we're learning from. And it'll show how failure, when handled properly, becomes a pathway for progress rather than just a simple setback. So there's this myth of failure. We tend to think of failure in two opposites. Either there's avoid failure at all costs, or fail fast, fail often, a mantra portrayed in some startup cultures. Both of these extremes, however, miss the point, because not all failures are the same. Some failures are preventable mistakes, whereas some are massive, complex system breakdowns, and yet others are intelligent failures. These are experiments in new territories that yield learning. And we need to get more nuanced about failure to think about when we want to try and have intelligent failure. So the three archetypes of failure, basic failures. These happen in familiar contexts, and it's when a standard should be known, yet an error occurs. So that may be sending an email to the wrong person, or mixing up a shopping routine and buying the wrong product. These are preventable and really offer little learning. Complex failures. These happen in areas of uncertainty. Because to be complex, often there's some unpredictability, otherwise it's just complicated. However, these are when we've got many interlocking parts, many causes, and the outcomes are not entirely controllable. So think of major system breakdowns in industry, for example, healthcare, aviation, or perhaps infrastructure. We can reduce the risk of errors occurring, but we can't eliminate them with complex failures. Intelligent failures. Now these are what we would call the right kind of wrong. These happen when we're working on a new thing in an unfamiliar territory and we're taking a hypothesis-driven approach. Think like a scientist in essence. And what we're wanting to do is have minimal risk exposure so that we're ready to learn from failures. And we should actually embrace these failures. We should say, we tried this, it didn't work, and that was because of X, Y, Z, so we're going to address one of these variables in our next experiment. And the key with intelligent failure is that they're small in scale, well prepared, and also they have a meaningful context, because there's no point doing an experiment on the moon, for example, if you're going to apply it in Earth. So, examples in science and teams. Researchers tend to separate RNA strands encountered, and that was just from many unsuccessful attempts, but it was actually intelligent failure. It was a new territory. The failures were necessary for progress, and it eventually led to a breakthrough. And now the whole human genome was discovered. Fantastic. Hospitals, for example, these are where teams may be functioning well, and then paradoxically, they may report more errors. So if a layperson looked at hospital data and they saw, oh, look, lots of errors are being reported from that team, they may think that's a bad team. But it may actually be that they have higher psychological safety in their team to admit, to say, look, it didn't go well then. What could go better? And take a step back and be willing to speak up. So it's fascinating to think about failures and learning from them. But failure isn't always a bad signal. In the right context, it is a learning signal. So in the next couple of videos, I'm going to go deeper into the environment where intelligent failure can happen, how to avoid basic and complex failures and minimize the risk of those, and perhaps talk about shifting your mindset. Feel free to subscribe. You don't want to make a basic failure and forget that. I'll see you next time.